Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for signing up to the Magician membership level, where I am going to teach you my way of doing tarot. Before I get started, before I say anything, I just want to let you know there are no such thing as the tarot police. There's no such thing as this is the way you must do it. I have developed this over 30 years of reading cards. It is, I'm not too sure how much is my way, how much I've learned through osmosis from other tarot readers or reading about tarot. But it's certainly a mishmash of everything, of my own layouts, my own reading skills, and my own knowledge of the human brain. I've studied a little bit about the human brain, about our thoughts and whatnot, not in necessarily a law of attraction way, in more of a neurological way. And I've applied that to my tarot, and I think that's what makes my tarot so interesting to other people. For many years, I hid it. I didn't realize it was a gift. I thought everybody could just do it, and it wasn't until I started reading cards professionally, on the encouragement of friends and family that I always read for, that I realized I do read them a little bit different than the rest of the world. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, though. Anyways, just to let you know, we did have to pivot. I did want this to be alive, more of an interactive. I posted in the community why it is a premiere. I apologize. I hope my neighbors have their landscaping done by next weekend, and we can maybe do our Q&A live. I was so disappointed because I practiced all week. I practiced with my husband, and yesterday when I did a test recording, you can hear all the machinery, and at one point you can even hear one of the men yelling for a hammer or something, and my walls aren't even that thin. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started on our lesson. Now, I am not above criticism or any kind of comments. This is the very first time I've taught a class. I've taught one-on-one before. This is the first time I've taught a class. If there's any suggestions, any comments, please let me know either in the community posts or in the Facebook group. And speaking of the Facebook group, you do not have to be a member of Facebook. You do not have to be in that group. You will not miss anything. That group is just for people who maybe want to chat and practice with each other. I will be posting the recordings there as well on the YouTube channel. If you want to join Facebook, but you want to join under an alias name because you don't want to be on Facebook for various reasons, I didn't want to be. I tried to sign up with an alias names, but if I'm running a group, it has to be my real name. So I switched back to my real name. I hope nobody finds me on Facebook for various reasons that I may or may not disclose. But anyways, you do not, if you have an alias, you have to sign up with your YouTube channel name that you signed up with the membership, so I can check it against that you actually are a member of the YouTube, because I want to keep it private. I mean, if somebody happens to slip in and they're not paying their $14.99 a month, I'm not bothered as much by that as infiltrators. So that's why I'm trying to keep it as private as I can. So however you signed up with the Magician membership, that's the name that you need to give me, and I'll admit you into the Facebook group. Again, you do not have to be on Facebook. You will not miss a thing other than chatting with other people, but there will also be some chat on the private community posts there as well. All right, all of that's out of the way. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you notice, I gave you a couple of assignments before we started our class. And one of them was, tell me about this picture. What do you see? And we got all kinds of what people see in this picture. Everything from tranquil, lost in a calm, reflection, very calm. We got a lot. Drifting, yet moving slowly. Somebody saw angel wings in it. Somebody saw an adventure. Somebody was two people in a still boat. Still waters run deep. A boat heading towards the future. Two people not interacting with each other. They're taking a long journey. There's nothing bright about it. Adrift, disoriented, confusion, forgotten. And the point I wanted to make is that your brain sees a picture differently than the next person next to you. And this is how I want you to read the cards. It's what your brain is telling you, what the cards are trying to tell you, because the cards are talking to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, it lives in your brain, and it's also known as your higher self. It's actually your silent partner. It guides you, whether you believe it or not, whether you know it or not. That's an actual scientific fact. All your habits live in your subconscious brain. Everything that you do without thinking lives in your subconscious brain. And your subconscious brain is where your symbology lives. For example, if you had a bad experience with chocolate as a child, your subconscious brain will tell you to stay away from chocolate because it's painful, or you get sick from chocolate, that kind of thing. If your subconscious brain sees adults smoking and enjoying that cigarette, you're more likely to want to even try smoking, because your subconscious brain says, well, every time I see somebody smoking, they're laughing and they're having a good time. So maybe we should try that because you aren't feeling very good today. So let's try a cigarette. That's where your subconscious brain lives. So your subconscious brain is what has the symbology in it. So, for example, one person suggested that these two people have a bad reflection of each other. Some people thought the boat was still. Some people thought the boat was moving. Some people thought this was fog. Some people thought it was peace and tranquility. What I'm telling you is there's no wrong answers. It's what your brain is trying to tell you. So when you connect your cards with your subconscious brain, I want you to throw away that little white book that tells you what it should be, because that's where you get tripped up with tarot. It's like, oh, this is 4 of coins. This is what this should mean. No, what does that mean to your brain? Does that mean when you see 4 of coins and someone hanging on to coins, does that mean poverty to you? Does that mean somebody who's good with money to you? Does that mean a budget to you? Does that mean I don't have enough to you? Right? It's what it means to you. And I think that's where a lot of my cards, I always get corrections in the comments about what the cards really mean. And I just ignore that because I go with what my subconscious is telling me. My subconscious is telling me, for example, I would read this picture, they're stuck because they aren't facing forward. Look at that. To me, they're looking back. There's no wind because they have a sailboat. There's no wind, so they can't move. Maybe they have no fuel on board to put a motor to help them. Maybe they just dropped anchor because it's so foggy and they don't want to go anywhere. And that's the next thing I want to tell you too, is that one picture in itself can tell you a lot, but it's the interaction with the other cards. Was there a tower moment here, that they've had a tower moment, now they're catching their breath? Do we build that house? Do we rebuild the house? Do we rebuild our relationship? I just got fired. Now what? I just won the lottery. Maybe we should take a minute. This is the boat I bought. We're just going to relax, right? So it's the picture itself is based on what you think this means. What does blue mean to you? What does green mean to you? What does white mean to you? What does yellow mean to you? And it's to you. Yes, there is a general consensus what it means. There's a general symbology of what it means. So, for example, Santa Claus means Christmas to most people. What if you're not Christian? What if you live in a country that doesn't celebrate Christmas? What does Santa Claus mean to you? It's what your subconscious mind, what if you had a bad experience with Santa Claus? Is that a happy time now for you? What if you lost someone at Christmas? Does Santa still have the same meaning to you? No, it's what it means to you. So that was the first one. So I want you to go back and look at that post and look at the different comments and realize we all see the exact same thing, but from how our subconscious is telling us what we should see. So let's go to the next picture. And sorry, this is a bit distorted the way it printed out. And I asked you what you saw. And then I asked you what tarot card would you put this with? And then one of the questions I asked is how many numbers do you see? And one of the things I noticed, nobody saw this as a number one person. We counted the seagulls and whatnot, but nobody saw this as a one. And see, and that's what I see. I see one person. I see a single person. Now, I don't know, is there a person on this side, this side? Are they leaving a person, for example, the direction? If there was somebody here, are they thinking of leaving that person? Is there someone here? Are they thinking of reconciling with that person? Do we see movement? Yes, we see a foot moving forward. So yes, we know there is some kind of movement, even if all she was doing was taking one step forward. Again, there's no right or wrong answers. I don't like the wind. So to me, this would be somebody who is contemplating someone. Maybe you enjoy the wind through your hair and at a beach and the wind is blowing, and maybe that's peaceful and tranquil and blowing in new ideas to you. We had some comments that this was temperance, and I thought that was great. 1 foot on land, 1 foot on the water, trying to balance yourself. I thought that was a great analogy. A lot of people got the Queen of Cups because we have a lady here near the sea. This could even actually be, the Page of Cups as well. Someone bringing you a message. Look at the direction that she's also looking. She's looking down. So is she downcast, or is she just being careful of her next step? Look at the colors, the blues and the greens and the calmness. And, without the wind, to me, it's a very calming picture. But with this wind here, are the winds bringing in storm clouds? Which way are the clouds blowing? So if their skirt's going this way, the clouds are blowing this way. So to me, clouds are mental confusion, maybe some depression. So if there's somebody here, if there's a person here or whatever's on this side of the card, I'd say she's being contemplating, is that going to bring her some trouble? And what's over here, I'd say the clouds are clearing. So this issue is clearing up over here. And is she being cautious of moving forward? Here's one. Is she actually stepping back? Has she put her foot in? Was she in the water? Now she put her foot and now she's stepping back out of the water. So many things we can see, and it depends on what your subconscious is saying. It's your subconscious. Maybe you're afraid of birds. Some people are. They're afraid of birds. They've had bad. Your subconscious tells you birds are dangerous. They poop on you. They'll come and steal your lunch. Other people love the idea of birds. For me, when I read card, birds are the internet. So are these messages coming toward, right? Look at these. Look at the way the birds are flying. This bird's coming, so are messages coming towards her rather than her sending messages out or thinking of things. So we can have this as an air card because there's wind. We can have it a water card because there's water. We even have it as an earth card because she's standing on the beach. So there's so much you can get out of a card, out of something so simple, so many things that you need to connect with your subconscious mind. And that's how I read the cards, is what is my subconscious mind telling me about these cards? So that being said, let's get to the actual cards themselves. So this is a general cheat sheet about what we can find in the cards generally. And this is using the Emperor or the Empress, because we are pregnant with possibilities and we're doing a creative thing. So I'm using the Empress card here. This is, I'll get back to you and explain what this particular deck is. But this deck is before the Rider-Waite. So that's why we're going right back. So this is the Empress card. We're pregnant with possibilities in this class and we're creative. So if you look at a card, the top of the card, if there's a person there, that's air, thought, intellect, communication. Right through the middle of the card is the heart. That's the water, the emotions, the relationship. At the pelvic area, we have fire, passion, creativity, transformation. And at the feet, we have the earth. We're grounded, resources, work, physical. So this is air, is general, is swords. The heart is cups. The pelvis is the wands, and the feet are pentacles or coins. Also, I'm going to start here with the heart or the cups is spring. We have passion. Then we move on to the wands, which is summer, which is growth. And then we move on to the feet, which are the coins or the pentacles, and that's autumn, and that's our harvest. And the head, which is the swords, that's winter. And so spring, we start with our heart, we have passion. I guess I should have changed that to love, because I have passion there. Sorry, I apologize for that. But we do have passion with love. Like we want to fall in love. That's why in the spring, where animals are all looking for their mates in the spring. So the cups are the spring. The pelvis, well, that's where we reproduce. And that is where growth, like and you think of wands are always have the growth on the top. So that's easy to remember. Summer are wands because things are growing over the summer. And then we have the autumn, which is the harvest. So that's and if you look at the Empress card, that's where all the wheat and whatnot is. That's we harvest. So you think, that's where you collect your money, right? Your harvest, you're collecting the money. And then the head is the air, the thought. That's the swords. That's winter. And that's when we review. That's when we set our goals. That's when we, communicate. Well, how was our harvest last year? Maybe we need to plant something else. Maybe we need to make a better plan. So that, and also winter is, I apologize if you're in the southern hemisphere. I guess, I know you guys always get the short end this way, but in my defense, these cards were made in Europe in the northern hemisphere. So that's the way it goes. I suppose you could have, your spring would be, well, it's still it's not necessarily the months, it's the seasons. So it's your spring. So I take that back. So instead of the months of April, May, June, you have the months of September, October, November, but it's the season. It's still the season. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. And here in the northern hemisphere, our winter starts at the beginning of the year, where we're thinking about what we want to plant. We're thinking about getting a mate. Then we go out and we find that mate, and we then plant our seeds and grow our seeds, and then we harvest our seeds, and so the cycle goes on and on and on. Also, when we are doing timing, air is our days, because thoughts are fast. Thoughts come and go. The heart or the cups are months. The pelvis or the fire or the wands is weeks, because you think air is swords, so that's fast. Fire can burn faster than a thought, so that's weeks. The cups are months. It takes months to build a relationship. And the coins are years, because sometimes it can take years for something to harvest. For example, if you have a tree farm, that takes a lot of years. Also, it's a long time to birth a baby, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how, when you want to do timing, sorry, I'm probably rattling here. When you want to do timing, swords are days, cups are months, wands are weeks, and pentacles can be up to years. All right. So that's just a little cheat sheet. I'll post this up in the Facebook group, as well as I'll make a forms part in the Google Docs. All right, so now let's get to how I came about the way I read the cards. First of all, I started with the number one, the Magician. And the Magician is the number one, and the Magician is then it's one. The Sun is one, which is 20. Sorry, I'm getting so excited here. Is 19. 1 plus 9 is 10, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So the Magician has an idea to create something, and the Sun is then the creation. So if we go with the number one throughout the tarot deck, so we start with the number one, the Magician. I'll talk about the Fool at another time. We start with the number one with the Magician, and he has an idea here. He has an idea, and so he has his wand that he reaches up to the universe, and I'll show you in a bit how I do my readings. That's why I always start my reading with 5 at the top. I'm asking for my subconscious mind. White is your subconscious mind. You're asking for your subconscious mind for answers and bring them down to earth. So that's the first thing you need to do, is you're talking to your subconscious mind. So that's why I always do 5. That's what I'll explain the way I came up with my readings. And you want to use all the cards, the pentacles, the cups, the swords, and the wands. I'm sorry if this is a repeat for some of you who are more advanced in tarot, but I'm going to assume everybody's just learning tarot for the first time. I'll go more into the colors of the cards, but here we're asking our subconscious mind to manifest on earth. And if you, this is the Lord's Prayer in one card. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Never say anything bad about yourself. Thy kingdom come, your kingdom, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us all the tools. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Clear the karma. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. I did a whole video on that if you want to go back, but this is the Lord's Prayer in one card. And some people say that this is actually Jesus, but that's a whole other how he talks and brings down to earth prayers, right? So these are your prayers, and you bring them down into earth, but without going into a Christian theology kind of thing. But these cards are based on that. So I'm not pushing Christian. I'm just telling you what the cards are based on. But it could apply to any religion, actually, because you meditate, right? You meditate to bring peace or law of attraction, but this is the manifestation card. Anyways, we're starting with number one. Then we go to the Sun, and I'll get to the Wheel of Fortune. I know the Wheel of Fortune's number 10, and that's 1 plus 0, but that has a special meaning here. I'll tie it together, believe me. So then we go to the Sun, which is card number 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. So now we have created. We've asked the universe, the yellow, and now we have created something. And so our number 1 cards, our aces, are all about new beginnings, about creating things. So what I'm going to do is, you'll see I always do cups, wands, coins, swords, because I start with spring, summer, winter, fall, or fall. Oh, for the love. I woke up way too early to get this done. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. All right. So we always start with spring. So we start with love. So this card is love, a new love coming into your life, or creating a love, right? This is, again, the white, we're starting something. So your subconscious plus your heart will bring your cup overflowing. Then we go on to wands. So now you found someone to love. You found the love. Now you got to make some whoopee. This is the phallic symbol. This is, you can imagine, without being too graphic here, the sperm coming out and planting into the seed, the Ace of Pentacles. We're planting seeds. Look at the growth. Look at the growth here. We're planting seeds. And interestingly enough, when a baby is born, it's called crowning. When the baby is born. And here comes the brand new idea, the truth. And when that new idea is birthed, so this is ideas, because we go back to our thoughts. When the baby is born, it's called crowning. And so your idea is crowning. And also the crown goes back to the head, the air, the thought, the intellect, the communication. So that's where the idea of the crown comes on the sword. So pages are also the messengers as well, and they also are the tens. Now, people are going to argue this with me because there are tens in the deck. In a normal deck of cards, no, they aren't. They're 11s. They're 2s. Oh, look at that. And the clock is ringing 11 right now. Sorry, I have to wait. Isn't that interesting? The cards are ringing 11. The pages are 11s. But the pages are interesting because the pages are not in a normal deck of cards. So that's why I've got them here with the ones, because they always bring you new messages with the new ideas. So the pages bring you have a message of a pregnancy. Then you have the page of wands, which brings you a message of something that grows. So this is the seed being planted. This is the actual creativity. The wand is placed in the ground, and then the wand grows. So the seed has been connected. Now here we have, this is the actual pregnancy. You're starting to grow. You're starting to harvest. Now here comes the announcement that the baby has been born. And pages are always children. Traditionally, pages are girls, and that's why you'll see a lot of times they're dressed in more feminine, and they actually should be, like these two are definitely girls, because that balances out the people in the deck. We've got the pages are feminine. We've got the knights that are masculine. Then we have the queens that are feminine, and the kings that are masculine. So when you have a deck and the pages look like boys, like this one here has a beard, they actually should be feminine. They should be the feminine, and this is not gender. This is balancing it out. Like they all have, the cards are balanced. Everything, there is no unbalance in the cards. So that's why I have the pages here. I thought after the birth, here come the children, and the children also show you, and then we have an announcement that the birth has made. And if you notice, the tip of this sword is missing because the baby's already born. It's already been crowned after the birth. So that's why I just wanted to bring that up to you, why I put that with the number ones. Also, I wanted to show you that the original, so these ones are the ones from the, I believe, the 1700s. These came before the Rider-Waite, and this is what the Rider-Waite was based on. And if you look at this, this is the Batilia. It's actually called the Juggler. And if you look, that's where they got the infinity hat from, if you see here. And he's also holding, like he's actually, it's interesting because this is showing more of the manifestation, whereas this is showing more of the creativity of it. But he still has the wand in his hand of his subconscious mind. So you can do these tricks when you juggle. It's your subconscious mind taking over. So that was a bit of that. And then the sun, if you look at the sun, we only have one baby here, but we have it riding on a horse. And in the original sun, it was actually the twins. And when it does the sun come out, when the sun comes out in Gemini, doesn't it? First day of summer is in Gemini. So I found that interesting that they just changed it to one, the sun, because Rider-Waite was based on the Rosicrucian, which is the sun, which they made the magician Jesus, and then the sun is born, the S-O-N. But yet the original cards are based on your subconscious mind, your creativity. We still have swords, wands, coins. I always talked, I'm sorry if I get ahead of myself, and cups. So we still have all the elements with us to make something we want, but we need to use our subconscious mind. And here we have the sun coming out in the summertime in the sign of Gemini. The original tarot cards were not applied to astrology. They had different other meanings. But here we have it's summer, it's sun, and it's time to create. Now, interestingly enough, in the original, like this is the Ace of Cups. Like this is the cup that we see in the Queen of Cups. This is the cup that we see her holding. The Ace of Wands looks very similar to the ace here. We have the hand of God. So, and look at, again, the sperm. This is the hand of God because, it was up to God whether you got pregnant or not. Here we have the coin, which looks like nothing like what the coin, but we do have growth. If you look at this ace, it has no growth, where on this one we do. On the coins here, we start to see a little bit of nature coming out. But this is not the hand of God. This is based on your hard work. And then here we have the crowning. This one is very similar, the hand of God, that it's up to God to give you the baby, and then it's up to God to birth you the baby, to crown the baby, that the baby is then born. But interesting, I'll get back to the Queen of Cups. This is the cup she's holding. This is the Ace of Cups. And then we have, if you look at the pages, again, they look like they're more like they've got the little blonde hair and whatnot, but they certainly don't have the same meaning. There's no fish in the cup here. The baton is the same. He's touching the ground so that it can grow. Here we have him showing you, I've got something to sell you. And then here we have the page. bringing out the information about the baby. I just wanted to show you how, the differences and the similarities, and how weight changed a lot of things to, can you say it modernized them? I don't know. He just changed the meaning of them, and he made the cards so it was easier for people to read. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute here. Okay, so that's one. So one is all about creation and about how things progress from thinking about something, creating something, manifesting that something, as in the pregnancy, and then birthing that thing. I'm going to just put this one aside because I'm going to bring that up. So we're going to skip over 2, which is the high priestess. We'll talk about another time. Because we're talking about birthing, I'm going right through to the Empress. And the Empress is the pregnant with possibilities. So you've already thought about what you want, and that's what all the stars are. And if you count the stars, there's 12. So that's the zodiac. So they're pregnant with possibilities. Her dress is pomegranate seeds, all kind of seeds. We've got the Venus here for love. And she's sitting there very comfortably. Is she pregnant? Isn't she? And again, if you look at the original card, here's the harvest. So here's the swords. Here's the heart. Here's the passion, the wands. And look at the red pillow here for passion. And then the coins, the harvest. So the Empress card is all of the creation in one. So pregnant with possibilities, creation, almost manifestation as well here with the harvest. And it's number 3. The next number 3 in the major arcana, believe it or not, is the Hanged Man. And that is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. And I want to show you something. When the Hanged Man, when you're pregnant, that's why sometimes this can indicate pregnancy. You are held from seeing things, from doing some things. I mean, obviously, when you're pregnant, there's a lot of things you shouldn't be doing, and you should be just looking after yourself and your baby. For example, you shouldn't be drinking. There's a lot of running marathons, perhaps. Just different things that you should not, or probably not be doing, especially as you get pregnant. But you're seeing things from a different point of view. You're seeing things. Now you're going to be a mother. Now you can't just think of yourself. Now you got to think of this baby that you're bringing in. How are you going to support this baby? One thing with the Hanged Man, even though it's a number 3 card, so you're pregnant with possibilities. You got pregnant. Now you for 9 months. You've got to grow this baby. The Hanged Man takes a number 4. So you're not there for long. You'll move on to the 4. So you're only in the number 3 for a little while, and then you will be moving on to the number 4. And I always thought that was interesting. The next card is the World, which is 21. 2 plus 1 is 3. So this is a creativity. This is the actual birth. This is the baby in the womb. And now it's ready to birth, to come out into the world. This is Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo. These are the 4 mutable signs that now you're ready to come out into the world. And look at this. I wanted to show you in case you've never noticed. Oh, where is it? So you start with 1 wand, and now you're coming out with both wands. You're coming out as a conscious and a subconscious being. You're fully formed, and you're ready to be birthed. And some of the cards actually show the World card open. But that's why this is the this is the beginning of the chapter, and this is the end of the chapter. You've done everything to give this baby the best chance You can now see things at a different point of view. Now you're going to be a mother, whether you're first time mother, second time mother, third time mother. Things will always be different. Every baby comes into a different family. So this can be anything from you start school, you're a student for a long time. You see things from a different point of view, and then you graduate, and you graduate um, with both types of knowledge. Because you're born into your subconscious. This is your higher self. This is your soul. Now you're ready to come into the earth with your subconscious and your consciousness. So starting again with our spring, summer, winter, fall celebration. Of course, in the spring, you're celebrating. This is when your May Day parties are, Easter, if you're a Christian. It's springtime, winter is over. Let's party. This is how you meet people. So now you've met somebody. Now you're starting to make plans with them. Is this going to be long term? Right? Is this going to be long term? This is the dating card. You meet somebody at the bar. Now you're dating. Now it's like, wow, should we get married? Oh, maybe not. With the Three of Swords there. It's interesting because that's always the way. You're dating somebody, you find somebody, you're pregnant with possibilities. Your heart is into it. Now your passions take root. And yeah, I could really live with, like, I really like this person. Well, here's the reality of it. Maybe this person's married. Maybe this person doesn't want to make plans with you for a long time. Now your relationship has matured a little bit. Now you're kind of harvesting some of the fun and the passion that you've had, and it can go either way. Sometimes that is a breakup, or you're thinking about things in more of an intellectual way rather than other ways. So that's when the winter comes. And if you look, this is a kind of a dreary card as well. And that doesn't mean that has to be the end of the relationship. You can then go on to the Four of Cups, which is thinking about things. But so that's how relationships work. And now we'll get back to the Queen of Cups, because the queens are they are 12, right? So they are 1 and 3. They are creators, and queens are 12s in a regular deck of cards. Kings are 13s, and that goes with the 4 with the Emperor. So I'll get back to that. So also the Queen. The Empress is the queen of the queens, and that's why we call her the queen of the queens, because the queens are 12s in a deck of cards. So they're 1, 2, so they are 3s. So that's why the Empress is the queen of the queens. So then we start with the Queen of Cups and see that's where the cup came from in the Rider-Waite. It was based on the Ace of Cups in the old original, because it doesn't look like a cup. It looks more like this contraption here. I always thought it looked like an urn, but that's just me. So we start with the Queen of Cups, and this is almost thinking that you keep your heart protected. You keep your heart in this special cup, almost guarding your heart. And then we have the Queen of Wands, which is the passion. This is maybe when you decide to get married. Right? Because we have the Four of Wands, which is the marriage card. So we have the Queen of Cups, the Four of Cups here. Somebody's handing you a cup. Maybe they're asking you to get married and you're thinking about it. And then we get on to the Queen of Wands. Well, this is where you decide to get married. Queen of Pentacles, you've now you are married. You're a wife, you're a mother. Queen of Swords is now you're divorced. That's why I call it my divorce card. No, it's the winter of your relationship. And the thing is that all of this is in cycles. So you either choose to end your relationship, or you look at it logically. You go back to why you fell in love. You have a renaissance of your marriage. The passion comes back, and then you go back to being the harvest of your relationship, and then it goes back, because marriages and relationships and everything in life is cycles, and it just repeats. Spring, summer, right? This is our summer card. You'll see the sun, the Queen of Wands, because she's the summer. And look at all the marriages. They say a June bride is a forever bride. Summer has always been the typical time to get married. Then we have the harvest. Now, you're doing well in your marriage. Perhaps here's a rabbit here. You've had a couple of children. You're being a good spouse, a good wife, a good mother. You're harvesting all of that, and kapow, something happens. And either you go for a divorce, or you look at it logically. This can also be a trusted advisor. So then you go to counseling, and again, you fall in love. You rekindle your passion, and you become a good partner again, and you're reaping the harvest of that. Or you go for the divorce, and you call it quits. But it's spring, summer, autumn, and winter of your relationship, or anything. This could be starting at a job, and then you do well, and then you get the promotion, and then you retire or you move on. So that's with anything. I hope I'm not boring you here. So let's look at the original. And this is the one I took this chart from, where we have the crown, and she's holding a scepter. And interestingly enough, here she's holding a shield, and here the shield is down here for love, and that was the original shield of a lot of the European countries have an eagle, Germany, Italy, etc. And it's interesting that the eagle is in some of the other cards, but depicted then as Scorpio. So I wasn't too sure what that all meant. But here we have the queen, so the 3, and she does look a little bit pregnant in here, and there is a little bit of wheat at her feet. And then the hanged man makes a better 4 when he is finally released, right? So here we see the 4 more so this way. So the hanged man, and then when they're released, and see, moves on to be a number 4. Whereas this 4 is kind of backwards, but still maintains the 4. Here is the world card, and that's very much the same. But see, in this case, it has a bit more of an opening for the baby to be born, and also the wands aren't the same size. They are one is larger than the other, because you're born with more of a subconscious than a consciousness, right? Your subconscious is there. That's your instinct. That's learning how to do things. It's basically your instinct, your subconscious. It's bigger when you're born than your consciousness. Your consciousness, you learn. This is where you learn to talk, you learn to walk, and you have very little. You come and you're just hungry. Just change my diapers and feed me, and give me love. That's all they want. Interestingly enough, we also have a 4 here in these cards. I forgot to mention that in the world, and that's stability. And we also have the 4 shown here in Aquarius, Scorpio, and that's where I talked about the eagle. It's actually the phoenix, the lion, Leo, and Taurus. And those are also the 4 apostles: Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. But that's for another story. This is also victory, showing that you were successful in creating your project. So now we go to the queens, and see, the queen here is holding a much different cup. This is the Queen of Cups, and interestingly enough, she's also holding a sword, telling me she's just come out of winter and she's single and she's ready to mingle. Here we have the Queen of Wands with her wand, the Queen of Pentacles, and here we have the Harvest, and you see the age progression of the Queen here. Spring, summer, she's still in her summer, but look at autumn, she's already starting to look a little bit older. And then we have the Queen of Swords here, who is in the winter of her life. So the spring of her life, the summer of her life, the autumn of her life, and the winter of her life. And that also could be the widow card as well as you age. Maybe you've lost your king at that point. So that also can be the divorce card, but it's the winter of your life. And then we go into the threes. As you can see, the threes in the old style are, I mean, how could you read these? Three of Cups, you've got a seed. Three of Wands, you're kind of planting the seed. Something has started. Here comes the Three of Pentacles and the Harvest here, and then the Three of Swords. And that's why Rider-Waite went ahead and started making illustrations on the cards, was it to make it easier for people to read, right? I mean, here's Three of Cups versus Three of Cups. Look at the Three of Pentacles. How would you'd have to memorize that rather than connect with your subconscious mind. Then you're just reading out of memorization. Same thing with the Three of Wands. Like, how do you even remember which is Three of Swords, Three of Wands? I mean, thankfully this one has a sword here, but they all don't have that. And I'll show you that in a while. Three of Swords. This is 2 + 1. So that's why it's betrayal. Maybe a third person has come in, or a third idea that breaks up the original idea, or something. And then the Three of Wands looks nothing like, you just have to memorize the idea of what that meant, versus now you can see that means I've put I've started some things. And that's why Rider-Waite went ahead and did all these illustrations. So now I want to get back to, sorry, this is how I read. I'm one more thing, and then I'm going to show you how to do a reading. Now, what did I do with it? I know I just had it here somewhere. The Magician. There we go. So the Magician is 1. The Wheel of Fortune is actually a 10, and we can reduce it to 1, but it doesn't fit in. It has to stay a 10, because a 10 is the end of a cycle, right? This is creation. I'll show you, it does fit in a way, but I'm going to show you the Wheel of Fortune as a 10, because it's a cycle. And again, we have the the seasons. Right? We have spring, summer, autumn, winter, with the Aquarius, Scorpio. Scorpio used to be the Phoenix before it turned into the Scorpion, Leo, and Taurus. So it's always about the seasons, and that's why I brought the seasons in here. And I apologize again if I feel scattered. Like I said, this is my very first time. So that's why the seasons are so important to the tarot, and why it's important that you realize where the seasons are when you're reading. So the Wheel of Fortune is a 10 because it's a completion, and you'll see the 10 of Cups. So again, we're starting with spring, 10 of Cups, happy family. 10 of Wands is the burden. The 10 of Pentacles is the legacy, the inheritance. And then the 10 of Swords is the ruin, the end, the rock bottom. You can't go any further kind of thing. And that's when the Wheel of Fortune, oh, geez, that scared me. I apologize. Sorry, I'm sorry. I thought I turned this off. But I see it came back on. I apologize. Oh, this is going to go down in history as the world's worst tarot lesson, I'm sure of it. Because we have the happy family, and then the wheel of fortune can turn, right? Now, then we have the burdens, and then the wheel of fortune can turn. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Now the wheel of fortune can turn. We have the 10 of Swords. Now the wheel of fortune can turn, because there's nothing after the 10. So I'm not saying after you have the happy family. It's just saying that sometimes when something's complete, we go back to winter, right? We go back to the cycle. We're doing the cycle. So we have the happy family, but you know what? That's kind of a burden. Now we've got the responsibilities, not necessarily a burden. We've got the responsibilities of looking after this family. I've got a burden of my job. I got a burden of my career. I've got a burden of just living is actually sometimes can be a burden or a responsibility, right? Looking after children, having a job, looking after yourself. And these are all little things that you've planted over the years. This is your education, your career, your children, you got to pay rent. These are things that you have to carry. Sometimes this can be things that were given to you from your parents. If we go back to what the wands are, like the color of your hair, your heritage, your ethnicity. Those are things that you can't change. They're given to you by your parents. So those are things you carry over your whole life. Then we get to autumn, and we finally get to see the fruits of our labor. We get to see the legacy. Now, we're in the autumn of our life. We have, right? Because you go back here, this is a young family, brand new home. Things are just growing. Life is great. Then you realize the summer of your life is like a lot of responsibilities. You finally get to retirement, and you get to see the fruits of your labor. You get to see everything you've worked for. Maybe you've got a beautiful home, you've got a beautiful family, you've got a couple of different generations, you have a bit of a legacy, you're retired, you've got a nice little nest egg. If you've worked hard, right? If you've worked hard, you've got this nest egg, you're happy, and then you die. It's the winter of your life. It's the end of your life. I know. And that's just the way the wheel of fortune works. And sometimes if you haven't done things properly, the wheel of fortune will turn on you, and the clock agrees with me. So maybe if you have a facade of a happy family, the wheel of fortune turns, and it turns into a breakup of the family. If you work really hard and diligently and try and get over things, the wheel of fortune turns and releases some of those burdens for you. You've got this family, this legacy, you've built all this. Sometimes then the wheel of fortune turns and you lose all your money in the stock market, or you never get that inheritance. That's why this is the inheritance card. You're waiting for grandpa to die so you can get the money, or grandma to die, like Harry and Meghan did. But guess what? You're not in the will, so the wheel of fortune turns. Or you think you're in ruin, you've hit rock bottom, and you can't go any further, and the wheel of fortune turns you, because it's a 10, and it turns you, and it falls out, and they cure your cancer. This sometimes can be like a health problem, because these are swords. So this could be, maybe you have to do a lot of surgery or see a lot of doctors. And then the wheel of fortune, the 10 can turn it. And then all the swords fall out, and you can pick yourself up and dust yourself off, and then move from your winter into your spring. Same thing with this is sometimes I get this for alcoholism. You've hit rock bottom. You've lost your job. You've lost your family. your body's breaking down, you can't take it anymore. You decide to go to A one more time, that Wheel of Fortune turns it for you. All the things start falling out. You can start to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and continue on. So that's why I tend to put the Wheel of Fortune a 10 with the tens, the X's. It's like that's where they belong. That's where the Wheel of Fortune belongs, because once you've hit the 10 can change it quite quickly. And same thing with the other way. If you're having a bad time with your family, the Wheel of Fortune can come and turn it around for you. And I only attach that to the 10 because they are twin cards. They're tens and tens. So no matter where you are in life, maybe you are in ruin and whatnot. The Wheel of Fortune can come around and you can win that lottery and turn it around for you, or you can get that inheritance and turn it around for you. So that's why I attach the Wheel of Fortune to the 10. Now, if we reduce it to a 1, it loses its power. It's not a 1. It's a transformational. It's not a creation. Yes, it does create. It creates good luck. It creates bad luck. So I guess you could put it in that way. But this is the tarot, because it's Tarot. So it just there with no end. Tarot. So without end, it just goes round and round and round. So more so than a creation, it does create good luck, bad luck. Not as much as the sun and manifestation. Let's put it that way. There is some manifestation in it as well, obviously, right? So if we look at the tens, if we go back to the tens and we look at the Wheel of Fortune here, one thing about the Wheel of Fortune, it very much resembles this one with the rat. This is a rat. This is some kind of creature. And then this is some kind of troll or creature, and this is some kind of snake. This looks like it's on water, but we never know who's turning the handle of the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Judgment card up here with the sword. So this could be the King of Swords. That's why I say sometimes that's a judge. They've made this into a Sphinx with the sword here. So, but we never know who's turning the wheel. We never know who's turning the wheel. Sometimes I call this karma. This is the sword of karma. Plus, it's just the cycles of life. It's just the cycles of life that we go through. The cycles, the year, of the year, the spring, summer, winter, fall. That's just the cycles of life. Everything is in a cycle. Everything is in a cycle. And I should do a video just on cycles, on the Rosicrucian cycles. It's actually quite fascinating. But again, I just wanted to show you the 10 cards, like the 10 of Cups. Like, how would you say that that's a happy family? How do you connect your subconscious with that? That's just a matter of memorization. And that's why I prefer the Rider-Waite, because there's the illustrations on there that you can connect with your subconscious. Also, I want to point out to you, and I will get to that in a moment here. I want to show you the wands are all entangled. The pentacles are loose, and that's the word I'm looking for. And the swords here are entangled. I forgot to say, if you look, I know a lot of you realize this, the 10 of Pentacles is the tree of life, the Kabbalah tree of life. There's a lot of Kabbalah symbology in here, but if you aren't attuned to that, it doesn't mean anything, right? I could say that's the Kabbalah tree of life, and if you aren't in tune to that, that doesn't mean anything to you. I just wanted to point that out. But also what I wanted to point out to you is that, let's get back to see, like, that's just memorization. I can't connect with that. That doesn't tell me a story about anything. I like the illustrations to tell me a story. And if you start with the Rider Waite, then you get the idea of what the card is trying to present to you. So when you do see it in another illustration, you get kind of an idea of, swords are supposed to be winter, wands are growth and summer, etc., etc. Now, interestingly enough, I'm getting to it. I promise I'll be more organized again. I'm gonna give up on it. I'll just tell you so cups. Let's start with cups with spring. If we start with the Ace of Cups to the 10 of Cups, cups progressively get better as the cups go along to a crescendo of happiness and joy. So we start with spring, with love, with the Ace of Cups. Then we go to 2, we meet somebody. 3, we have fun. 4, we're like, ooh. 5 of Cups is, the spilt cups, crying over spilt milk. 6 of Cups, you get over it. Anyways, it builds up to something very happy and joyful. The cups do, over from 1 to 10. Same with Pentacles. Pentacles, there's a little bit of the 5 in there that, you're a bit of poverty or whatever, but then 6, somebody comes to help you. 7, you plant seeds. 8, you work. Anyways, Pentacles build up to something great. Wands, on the other hand, start out really great. You start out with the growth and the planning and waiting for your plans, and the 4 of Wands is celebration. 5 of Wands is a bit of a struggle, but 6 of Wands is victory, and then it starts to go downhill from then. So in Wands start out great but end up as a burden or a responsibility. And same thing with Swords. Swords start out great. You start out as a baby, you're crowned as an idea. 2 of Swords is, you can't see, you can't walk, you're kind of frozen. 3 of Swords is 3 swords are actually kind of bad all the way around, but they actually get better once you get to 6. You're starting to go from troubled waters to smooth waters. 8 of Swords, you can finally set yourself free. 9 of Swords is your anxiety. 10 of Swords is your ruin, but once you get to this point, you can start the cycle all over again. So I would actually prefer to be in the winter, because then I know spring is coming. I don't know if that made any sense or not, but I think you get. So cups 1 to 10 are actually they get better as the cups progress. Pentacles, from 1, you plant the seed to your harvest, it actually gets better. Wands actually kind of go downhill from the start to the end, and Swords are generally really, really bad all the way until you hit rock bottom. And once you hit rock bottom, then you can start all over again. So I hope I didn't confuse you. I didn't give you too much. I'm just going to go with I just want you to look at the cards in a different way. I want you to look at the progression of them and what the cards are trying to say. I want you to get used to the idea of cycles in the cards, Now I'm going to show you why. Now you have an idea of why I do the cards the way I do. Is I always look at what cycle is that card. Is that summer, spring, winter, or autumn? Is it harvest? Is it the beginning? Is it passion? Is it growth? Is it winter? When things are frozen and it's miserable outside, if you happen to live in a northern area or a place that's cold. What's going on with the card in that respect. So that's what I kind of want this lesson to be about, is the actual cycle, the growth of it. Now I'm going to show you a quick little layout, geez, that you can do so you can start to learn what your subconscious is telling you about these pictures. So my favorite layout to start out is just the 3. And I want to go back to, how do you shuffle your cards? How do you split your cards? There are no tarot police. It's what your intuition tells you. If you have small little hands and you can't shuffle the cards like this, then don't. There's many ways to shuffle cards. You can shuffle cards like this if you want. You can shuffle cards like this if you want. You can just mix them up like this if that's what you feel like you want to do. You can read them upright. You can read them reverse. There's no tarot police. There's none. So don't let anybody tell you there is. You don't have to be gifted a set. You don't have to sleep with them under your pillow. You can do all of those if you want. Absolutely. But you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to cut them 3 times. You don't have to cut them with your left hand. You don't have to cut them twice. You don't have to cut them towards you, behind you. You don't have to even cut them if you don't want. I prefer to cut them with my left hand because it's closer to my heart. And then I do the drop cut rather than rather than doing the 3 or 2. Sometimes I do a 2 or 3 drop cut, but when I do the drop cut, it's crazy how, then that tells me they're really chatty. It's almost like, I've already dropped once. How come you aren't listening to me? And it's crazy. You think that you can control how you drop it. You can't. Your hand is a direct line to your subconscious. Your subconscious will tell you where to drop the cards, will tell what part of your fingers to drop the cards. And there has been times I've dropped them and only a couple are left in my hand. One of the things I am going to tell you about shuffling is, if you're reading for yourself, try and it's best practice to have the cards facing up, because your subconscious is seeing where those images are. Your subconscious is going, oh yeah, that king is back there. Believe it or not, I've posted a video, a BBC video of Japanese children doing math. And if you want to see that again, it is crazy. The numbers they put up in 15 seconds, and the children can tell you what the answer is. It's because they have trained their subconscious mind. So when you are shuffling for yourself, try and have the cards upright, because your subconscious mind is picking up where those cards are. Trust me on that. If you want to see that video again, honestly, in 15 seconds, these Japanese children, and the number is ridiculous, like 14 trillion, 700 billion, like, it is like, wow. And it's all in their subconscious mind. There's no way you could even move that fast on a calculator. It's in their subconscious mind that they've trained their subconscious mind to do math. So anyways, when you're shuffling for yourself, and it's up to you if you want to shuffle up for other people, I just find that then it's your subconscious mind may come out in the cards. So, for example, if you're reading for somebody, you yourself are going through a divorce and you're reading for somebody, you might find out you get a lot of divorce cards, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with their marriage. So that's why it's best practice to turn them the other way. And don't worry, your subconscious mind will know exactly what you're doing. What else about shuffling and cutting? That's about all. If you're doing it for yourself, do it upright. Doing it for somebody else, turn them down so you're not putting your subconscious thoughts into the cards. And then I cut with my left hand because it's close to my heart. That's just a personal preference. Cut with whatever hand you want. But when you drop it, your subconscious mind is telling your fingers where to let go. There. And then you can start reading. I am going to teach you the 3 card, and the reason I want to do the 3 card is I don't want you to very specifically think about what the card is saying. What I want you to look at is what direction is the card. Oh, and when you're learning for the first time, learn everything upright. Learn everything upright. Oh, I know what I forgot to tell you. I sometimes when I'm reading and because I have multiple decks, if you have multiple decks, you might want to do this. You might want to do this every time. Sometimes when I'm reading, I'll ask the cards. I want to ask about love. Do I have the right deck? And I'll cut them and I'll look. Knight of Pentacles, upright. The answer might not go very far, for example, or that would be, yeah, he's willing to talk, or the deck is willing to talk. You know, if I want to ask, is this the right deck to talk about finances? No. Knight of Swords, no, right? Because I'm learning to read upright. Knight of Swords, no. I might get hasty information. Or you just might even just want to ask your cards, are you ready to talk? Oh, and then that would be the upright. Yeah, that would be a very positive card. Upright. Yeah, I've got really good advice for you. Advice that will last a long time, right? So go ahead and ask your cards that. People ask me, how do I know what cards are ready, or how do I know what cards? And I just ask the cards. I just ask the cards. Okay, so if you're just learning, I want you to learn them all upright. I want you to learn them all upright. And then you can ask your cards, do you want me to read you in reverse? Oh, that's a definite yes. Yes, go ahead. You can read me in reverse. Only then start to read your cards in reverse. Then I want you to ask your cards, when I read you in reverse, are you opposite of the upright? Sometimes could be with the Knight of Swords here, or are the reverse delay? Because reverse can be, and I'll get more into this when we talk about reverse. Reverse can be opposite of what the upright is, or it can be delaying what the upright is. So now I'm going to ask, when I read you reverse, is it delay? Yes. Page of Swords. Yes, that brings messages. Because the Page of Swords brings ideas, brings yes. Interesting about swords both times. One was hasty, and then this one is a enthusiastic yes. Enthusiastic yes. But she's looking backwards, so maybe it will be a combination of the two. Anyways, I digress. So what I want you to do is practice with 3 cards. Don't even ask a question. Just put out 3 cards. Boom, boom, boom. What I want you to practice looking at, what direction are they looking? What season are they looking at? Major arcana, minor arcana, where are they in the growth cycle? So to me, this would be, because the king is looking at the moon, the king is reflecting back at himself. Now, what does moon mean to you? What does the moon card mean to you? Not necessarily what the moon card means. And I go back to the pictures there is, you know, a lot of people think the moon is cycles that we're in, which could be correct. The moon is a circle, it's a cycle. A lot of people are, you know, it's nighttime, so it's dark, you can't see clear. To me, it's a mirror, it's an illusion, and especially with this face in the mirror. So the king is looking at himself. This is how I would read it. He's looking at whether he wants to start something, King of Wands, a growth. So that's why he's the entrepreneur. He makes things grow, right? He's a summer card. He makes things grow. He's a growing concern, makes things grow. So he's looking at himself. Maybe he wants some self-reflection growth. Maybe he wants some self-reflection growth. He's looking at himself in the mirror, right? Because that's the way I look at it. You might be looking at it, he's looking at, you know, his past cycles, the past things that he did. But he's looking at himself in a mirror for growth. And with this Ace of Swords, he's planning goals. It's time to sit down and come up with new ideas that will birth new things. So it's not a time to act hasty, because this is our winter card, and what's in the winter? Everything's frozen, nothing's moving. It's just a time to plan for the spring. And plus his back is towards the sword. So it's time to do some self-reflection before he comes up with some new ideas or goals. And once he's done with that self-reflection, if you look, the sword is the hand of God. So it's ideas, and it's white. So it's your subconscious. It's your subconscious. So I would say, sit. We have a crown, and then the moon is up high too. Sit and just let your subconscious come up with some ideas. All right, so let's try that again. Let's just put 3 cards out. We're not asking a question. And we want them upright. Okay, so we've got a major arcana. Interesting, we have another major arcana. So we have summer, and then we have spring. So that's interesting. The summer is coming before the spring. So does that mean it's going to be a long wait? Do you see this? So the Lovers. Lovers is also the choice card. The choice card. So that's why we have the angel here, the choice. And in the original card, there's actually a third person. So this would be like choosing who your lover is, or your choice card. So you have a choice here, just like how Eve in the garden had a choice whether she ate the fruit of knowledge or not. So you have a choice here. But when we're looking here, we have 3 here. So we count 3, and here we have 3 as well. And he has his hand on 1. So he has a good idea which one he wants to choose, but his back is towards the choice. Look at that. He's not looking at the choice. He has a good idea which one he wants. Kind of these 2 are behind him. But he's taking a very long time to make his choice, right? With this walking away, he's waiting. He's waiting. Interesting, we don't have a sword card here indicating winter or coins, autumn. He's just really taking a long time to make his choice. He's made up his mind. Maybe there's reasons why he can't make his choice. Maybe there is a third person involved, and he's just waiting for them to become free, right? These wands are both in the ground. Maybe he's waiting for one of them to become free. So he's waiting and watching. But his back, like, what direction is he facing? Well, his back is towards us. And again, with this one, his back is towards us. So if somebody asked you, is my boyfriend going to ask me to marry him? No, he'll hang around over the winter, but by spring he'll move on, because, right, cups are our hearts, our spring. By spring he'll move on. And look, he has red boots here and red boots here. I always look for correspondences in the cards, what the cards are trying to tell me. So I would say by spring he's moving on, because this is the moving on card. Without even knowing that, you can see he's moving out of the reading. He's moving out of the reading, so he's moving away from the lover. So there's the direction. So there's no direction here. His back is towards us. He doesn't want to tell us what he wants to do. That's another thing you could get from the card. But then by spring, he moves out of the reading. All right, let's do another 3. Oh, we already did the King of Wands, so I'm just gonna. 4 of Wands, the Chariot, and Strength. So we have 2 major arcanas here. So this is going to be really important. So the 4 of Wands, this is the 4s are always stability. But look at, we got some people. They're happy here. So this could be a marriage. You hold flowers in your hands when you get married. Also, this could be a home. Maybe you bought a new home. but this is definitely, when you stand under an arbor, um, so things that you stand on a stage, if you look, they're standing on a stage. So is this a graduation? Again, this is just because I know what the fours mean, it's like foundational celebration, because there's these wands are on a foundation. If you look at the other wands, they're always on the ground, or I'm trying to look here for a wand. Of course, I'll never find one because I'm looking for one. But they aren't always necessarily on a fountain. Come on, where's all my wands? Yeah, see, those wands are not on a foundation at all. This they're usually just on the ground. But anyways, you get my point. This is on a foundation. This is on a stage, right? So something foundational with the Chariot here, and the Chariot card, if you look, and I've explained this before, the Chariot is a 7 card. And interesting, we correspondence here is the same castles, the exact same castles. 7s you have no control over, and if you look at this Chariot, he has no reins on these 2 horses, and they can go in different directions. So it's interesting, this castle, so you could almost see that this party is right here beside the Chariot. So is this going to be some kind of movement? And then here with the Strength card, and this is 8. So this is 7 July, 8 August, when we don't have a minor, then we can go by the months, especially when we have 7 and 8 here. This could be July and August. I would say that maybe you'll be going to a wedding in August. Also here with the Strength, what is she doing? Look at the lion's mouth is open. So is she trying to close things that the lion would say? So, and here we have the same correspondence with the Magician, the infinity symbol. Is she trying to tame the lion, make sure the lion's teeth aren't showing? So I wouldn't say the lion is trying to bite her. I think the lion is trying to say something here. So this would be using your subconscious. White is our subconscious to tame your habits, things that you say. So this would be your ego, because, the lion is pride, right? So you think, what's lion? Lion is pride. So trying to tame and close your ego, maybe using some habits. Habits are infinity. Tame and close your ego using your subconscious mind, trying to having the strength to change some habits. You need strength to change habits, to quit drinking, to quit smoking, to quit. Look at that. The clock is ringing too. So you need your strength to tame your ego or your habits there. And interesting, the Chariot can be body, mind, and soul. And about how your body is right. This body here is encased in cement, is of the earth, and your mind is the black one. Then the soul is the white one, because your soul is your subconscious mind talking to you. So if you don't have these tamed, all 3 of them tamed, your ego can run amok. And here with the foundational happiness here, maybe you want to lose weight for your wedding. I know you're like, what? How did you get that? because you have a wedding to go to, and you have to tame something and get control of your body, mind, and soul for the wedding. Or maybe this is the foundational happiness. Maybe you have to be really careful when you're there. Maybe you won't like the people that are there. I wouldn't say that, because these are mostly positive cards, but this is definitely something to do with the celebration, because we have the correspondence here. and we have the taming of the body, mind, and soul. And here we just have taming of the subconscious mind. So I would say, and then that would be the correspondence to that, white to white. I hope I'm not giving you too much here of how I read these cards, but I read them as they're trying to tell me a story, and this is what my subconscious mind is showing me. So I want you to practice with those three. If you're a little advanced and you want to do the 5-card reading that I do, and then I'll wrap this up. I know it's a lot of information, but the first one is the foundational one. I promise you the next ones won't be as long. So this is how, again, I'm just going to keep them all up. This is if you're an advanced and you want to practice the readings that I do, this is the 5-card reading that I do. I'm not going to ask a specific question. I put 5 cards out. Now, this is my subconscious mind. This is my subconscious mind, right? This is what the universe wants to tell me. This is the magician's white baton coming down to me. This is what the universe wants to tell me. And then I do 3 on top of that because I want some creation, right? So I got I know it's 5 cards, but it's my baton, the magician. Then I got 3, the creation. And then I go back to the 1, which is the second baton that the world, in the world card. So you have your first baton, you have your creation, and then you have the world baton. And then I go underneath. Now I'm going from earth to, now I'm reversing it. So now I've got my subconscious and my consciousness together. Now I'm down to earth, from heaven to earth. Now I go backwards. So that's why I say this is underlying. This is what is happening here on earth. This is what's happening up in the universe. Bring it down to earth so we understand it. And then this is what's happening here on earth. And that's why I'll do 5. Then I might do another 5 or 3 or 4. And then I do it, I possibly do it a last time. And then I let the cards tell me when they're done. So for example, this would be, okay, you're done. You're done, right? Because this is a no or negative card, or just you're done. Like there's no more to say. There's no more to say. So then I would stop. And then that's how I do my reading. And I always, underneath is always a lot of cards, because that is our, at our feet, right? That's our harvest, our abundance, so that's why I put a lot of cards at the bottom, because that's the earthly plane. That's our kingdom come. That's our abundance. That's our, I know the universe is abundance as well, but this is our on the physical plane, on the physical plane. And I don't know why, that's just how I've always done it. That's how I've always done it. So if you want to practice that reading as well, that's a reading I've developed, and I based it on what the tarot was telling me with the baton, the creativity, the 3, and then back to the 1, which is this second baton of the world card. I should have left those out. So 1 baton, 2, but anyways, sorry, that's my mind, my mind talking. And I always just let the cards tell me. Sometimes it's intuition. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I saw the card, so I have to play it. So I let my subconscious, if I'm talking, I'm doing this, it's my subconscious is telling me, play it, reveal it. So that's another thing I do as well. You might want to practice that. Just put your hand on the cards and see, does your hand move the card? Is your subconscious telling you, play the card? Or is it keeping it absolutely straight, saying you're done? Okay, I think that is more than enough today. I sure hope I didn't overwhelm you. Like I said, I'm new at this. I'm new to teaching. I appreciate all your comments about it and your criticisms. Let me know where you want more information, less information. I tend to fire hose people with information. Our next session will be Q&A. So I'd love to see you practice, um, uh, practice with each other in the Facebook group. Please let me know any questions. I'll try and get to them. I've got a very busy week. I've got all those readings to do. This weekend, we had a bit of a family emergency. I don't want to get into that. So I wasn't able to do all the foundational members' questions. I will this weekend though. I promise you that. Phew. I've got so much more to teach you, but all I want you to do is just put your 3 cards down, and what are the cards telling you in your brain? What are the cards telling you? What does this rainbow mean to you? Maybe if you're Christian, that's Noah's promises, right? What does this family mean to you? Is this, here's a good one. What do 8 wands in the air like that mean to you? Now that you know that means summer and growth. Is that movement? Is that travel? Here's swords and now it's winter. What does this mean to you now? Does this mean that, well, in the winter, yeah, it's cold. I can't go outside. I'm kind of trapped inside my house, right? If that's what winter means to you. I can't wait till it starts melting. Does this mean spring to you? I just want you to just, take your time and go through this. Oh, the sun. Well, yeah, sunflowers. The sun, is this SON to you, or is this SUN? What does is this just backstabbing to you? Does this mean surgery to you? What does this mean to you? To your subconscious, not what the little white book says. I mean, that's a general idea, but what does it mean to you? And that's how you learn to read. That's how you learn to master tarot cards, is listen to your subconscious. All right. That's all for now. Thank you so much. I look forward to your comments and next week's Q&A. Take good care. Bye for now.